Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Tobago, where we keep you informed about the plans and initiatives of the Tobago House of Assembly and the impact that these have on you. I'm Colleen Holder, and this week we're coming to you from the office of the Chief Secretary at Calder Hall. In our stories this week, the move is on as patients are transferred from the Scarborough Regional Hospital to the Scarborough General Hospital. Tobago gets one step closer to internal self-governance. Speyside opens the doors to its $9 million multi-purpose community centre, and Tobagonians receive cards that will help them in an emergency.
Because of hard times, I was feeling kind of useless. Went into the city, I bought an oven and decided to open a little cake shop. I went into the office and I got a form, and the staff was very helpful, and they helped me make up the form and give me all different kind of information, and it was easy, very easy. I would say thanks to the Business Development Unit for all the assistance that they are giving to me.
Redefining business, protecting Tobago's heritage.
56 patients have made the move from the Scarborough Regional Hospital to the Scarborough General Hospital. At the recent Post-Executive Council media briefing, Health Secretary Claudia Groom-Duke explained that the transfer is a continuation of the phased commissioning of the Signal Hill Hospital, which began in April of this year.
After the exercise, the first patients will be spending the night at the hospital. And so let us not forget the hospital staff, because this will be their first official night shift for the inpatients at the new hospital. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all persons involved in this process and this exercise up to this point, and this includes our staff, the Division of Health and Social Services, the Tobago Regional Health Authority, the NIPDEC and the Ministry of Health, and of course the contractors, and most of all for this exercise, TEMA and the agencies. This would be fire, the police, and other agencies that are involved in disaster management in the Tobago scenario. And so with regard to the vesting of the hospital to the Tobago House of Assembly, we are yet to receive word from the Ministry of Health. So this is where we are at in terms of the transfer of inpatients from the Scarborough Regional Hospital to the Scarborough General Hospital.
Tobago is one step closer to internal self-government as the independent committee convened by Alan Richards to respond to the central government's Green Paper reported on the wishes of the people of Tobago. One such goal is a national governance structure under a federal-style government.
Self-determination and autonomy under a federal-style government system is preferred by the people of Tobago. Mr. Richards explained the federal government system.
Both islands having their own governments, and then you have a national government that would oversee both islands. In Tobago, we're suggesting that perhaps the parish type arrangement that already exists administratively could be the local type government on the island.
He said that structure of government was amply justified by the team as well.
We felt that there should be a transitory measure that would give the THE full and final responsibility for all matters except for the President, Judiciary Commissions, that's the Service Commissions in particular, Auditor General, Ombudsman, and National Census.
Since under this structure, Tobagonians would make final decisions on whatever affects their lives, Richards highlighted areas that would need collaboration between the government and the Assembly. One such area is immigration.
What we suggested to correct what the Green Paper seemed to see that the Assembly could not deal with any of these matters if it meant changing the law. So if the status quo exists and you couldn't change it, then you really have no power. We felt that you must have some other means by which this collaboration could occur.
Another goal is the jurisdiction boundary. According to Mr. Richards, the Constitution does not specify the boundaries of Trinidad or Tobago, so the team had the islands defined properly according to international law.
And in doing so, we would have looked at a number of precedents, and the one that stood out was the precedent used in the case of the Canadian provinces of Nova Scotia and Newfoundland.
Chief Secretary Honorable Orville London noted that this is just another phase for Tobago to achieve internal self-government.
And this administration has always indicated to the people of Tobago that the process belongs to them, and they have to be an integral part of that process. And that it is a process that should be all-inclusive and a process that is consistently evaluated and adjusted so as to suit the wishes of the people of Tobago.
So then, what's next? There will be wider circulation of the document, and the public will be invited to hear the views of the Independent Commission. I'm Davia Chambers for the Department of Information.
Can I assure my family about their safety when they visit Tobago? Will Tobago ever get a fraud squad? And what about ring bang? These were just some of the questions facing Chief Secretary Orville London as he met with COSTAT students who are studying management for the protective services. The students who attend the college in Trinidad are members of various branches of the Defence Force and visited Mr. London as part of their course on public sector management. Sophie Guillaume has more.
They came from the Army, Police, Fire, Coast Guard and Prison Service, and they're all COSTAT students. Speaking openly with the students, the Chief Secretary was questioned on topics ranging from tourism to bureaucracy.
Could you give us an overview as to the advantages that bureaucracy plays in the running of the Tobago House of Assembly?
What bureaucracy in fact does is that it places the priorities in the wrong place. It places the priorities on process rather than on outcome. Bureaucracy oftentimes does not have a human face. Bureaucracy deals with paper and process. Bureaucracy does not emphasize and focus on people and outcome. Bureaucracy leaves the public service behind the rest of the world.
Has there been any collaboration with the executive from the Ministry of National Security to have a fraud squad department established in Tobago, or even having the officers here trained to investigate matters involving fraud?
Now, I don't know what are the number of people who commit fraud in Tobago, right? And maybe enough people do commit fraud in Tobago to merit a fraud squad. I don't know, right? But the question of training, because you see, again, it is how you treat with the situation. When you have small size, the only way that you, well, I won't say the only way, but one of the ways that you handle it is to have a multidisciplinary approach towards your management. So that you instead of having a specialist, it might mean that you have to have somebody who deals with fraud and deal with somebody else to make sure that that person is sufficiently occupied in the small area to which he or she has been assigned.
On the question of crimes against visitors to the island, Mr. London had this to say.
What assurance can I give my relatives when they come to visit that Tobago is still one of the best places in the world to bring them?
If a criminal wants to rob somebody, he's going to rob somebody who feel they have money, or somebody who feel they have something worth robbing, right? And if you are a tourist standing up there and a criminal looking at the two of you, who is more likely to rob? It's relatively safe, I mean, to be quite honest. Because we, unlike a number of Caribbean countries that really, deal with enclaves. I mean, if you go to Jamaica, their tourism is in little pockets, little circles. You stay in there and you get everything. And you go and you have a good time, don't venture out.
Questioned about it, the Chief Secretary spoke candidly on the ring ban issue.
A couple of years ago, we had a ring bang scenario. I would like you to explain how is it that the THA was able to invest in a concert? I know it wasn't under your watch, but the explanation would be fine, please.
I think Mr. Charles was right in attempting to invest in any project which he thought would bring benefit to Tobago. But that was a bad project. And I think that is what Tobagonians punished him, because he made a foolish decision, not because they felt that it was wrong for him to utilize his authority to make an investment.
Sophie Guillaume, Department of Information.
A 300-seat auditorium, a computer room with 14 workstations, and an audiovisual room. These are just some of the features of the new $9 million multi-purpose facility in Speyside. From the opening, Omadara Mills reports that the newest community center on the island is intended to be more than just a meeting place.
These facilities must no longer be seen as a mere meeting place, but as centers of social integration and cultural expression, a place for empowering oneself, empowering a community, or even a nation.
Gone are the days of meetings in makeshift accommodation in Speyside. The residents of the coastal village are now able to access a comfortable meeting space with a new $9 million multi-purpose center. Area Representative Tracy Davison-Celestine shared the vision for the facility as it relates to a more proactive management approach.
There will be a coordinator who will work with the Community Council and the Division of Community Development and Culture to coordinate and implement programs that will only serve to further the development and administrate to the unique characteristics of this particular community.
It is a building of class and quality. This came from Chief Secretary Orville London, who expects the facility to be used for activities such as a homework center, a senior citizens activity space, and a place where young persons can utilize for academics and cultural activities.
We do not want a facility that is locked up at any point in time. When the young people when the children are at school and the young people are at work, I expect the senior citizens to be here doing their thing in this place.
The facility, which was constructed according to existing building codes and statutory regulations, includes an auditorium for 300 persons, an audiovisual room, a computer room with 14 workstations, a kitchen, and rooms which can cater to the needs of the differently abled. I am Omadara Mills for the Department of Information.
The Tobago House of Assembly cannot develop Tobago by itself. This came from Chief Secretary Orville London as he took the time to distribute over $20,000 to 12 voluntary organizations. Whether it was for a school trip to Paris or bringing joy to the elderly, Omadara Mills got an insight into what some of the organizations plan to do with the money.
It will be a life learning experience when 45 students and teachers from the Signal Hill Secondary School visit England, France and Holland in 2013. Visual arts teacher Diane Dennis explained the importance of such a trip to youth development.
I received $5,000. It is to assist in the accommodation for our trip next year, July to August, to Paris. My way of teaching the children is for them to see the world and be able to gain more knowledge and put it to use. Right? Because sometimes a child can learn in a classroom with 4 walls around them.
Helping the island's senior citizens is another aspect of developing Tobago. Acting president of the Mount St. George Village Council, Junior Kwashi, revealed what they did for the elderly in 2012 when he received $1,000 on the council's behalf.
This year we had a Thanksgiving service at the Mount St. George Community Center. It was held on the 25th of November. So this is just to reimburse some of the money that we spent.
Before being able to help others, one must have a solid foundation, and in this case, a roof over one's head. Carlos Lovell of Abundant Life Missions Church gave an insight into what his organization will do with their THA donation.
I just received $4,000, and it is used for, we are going to do a new land, we're going to purchase land and do a new building. We want to assist the people. We started some groundwork already, going about with the men in the villages and having some lecturing to them. We brought people to them to talk to them and all like that. So we want to have an environment that is more comfortable for them.
Chief Secretary Orville London explained the significance of the collaborative work between the THA and the voluntary organizations when he distributed a total of $22,250 to the 12 representatives.
What we're in fact doing is attempting to partner with you in bringing, development and improvement and some joy, in some cases, some comfort to people. And I want to congratulate you all, because I know that in all cases, you all represent voluntary organizations. You don't make any money for it. You don't make any profit from it. And therefore what you do out of the goodness of your hearts and a desire to help your fellow human beings.
I am Umudara Mills for the Department of Information.
You can now send us your comments to information@tha.gov.tt or visit us at www.tha.gov.tt, and please see the bottom of your screen for more contact details. We take a break, but when we return, Dr. Ansam London distributes emergency social cards to needy Tobagonians.
My name is Roger Sampson. The business that I'm into is plumbing. Someone told me about it. I applied, I got through. Jobs was coming on the market for me. I needed additional tools to make the job more effective. It's not only about finance, it's about helping you to manage your company. I just want to say thanks to the business development program, all the persons that put this program in place. This is one of a million.
Redefining business, protecting Tobago's heritage.
Welcome back. Circumstances should not define a person. This was asserted by Secretary for Finance and Enterprise Development, Dr. Ansam London, as he distributed 24 emergency social cards to Tobagonians.
After visiting a villager whom he had not seen for several years and noticing the way she lived, Dr. London was inspired to get this program going.
She lived in Adventure Road, going up to where Annesville Hotel used to be. And I hadn't seen this lady for 30, 40 years, and I went to look for her. And I saw her condition and think bad with she. Not really fault of her own. It's a matter of circumstance. And last year, Easter, thing was so bad with her. And God has so blessed me, that thing was so good with me. I had to put my hand in my pocket and give her $500. Said, go buy something for Easter. And I saw her in church Easter Sunday morning. If you see how she looks splendid, fresh and nice.
He believes that everyone in Tobago must live a decent life, no matter what their background may be.
It's not because you're poor or because things bad with you. It could be better tomorrow. You could get rich tomorrow. That today I have the right to humiliate you. And as I tell you, I saw a spectacle on the wharf of Scarborough. Woe betide Pope. It is not right. It is demeaning to have people running behind you for some card that you are giving out without any examination of your particular circumstances.
The Secretary made it clear that the Assembly's eyes will remain open to continue to help the vulnerable.
When the Assembly acts like that, we are acting in service to do God's work, to deliver to His children. This is not a card to go and buy rum. It's not allowed. This is not a card to go and buy play and waste your money on gambling of that kind.
The $500 card is to be used in an emergency to obtain food, medicine and other vital items. Tobagonians can apply for the social card at the hospital or any health center on the island. I'm Davia Chambers for the Department of Information.
At first, she wasn't interested in entering the art competition because she didn't see the great potential in such an activity. But Nidra Waldron of Scarborough Secondary eventually topped the 50 participants in the competition with her piece Dawn. Umadara Mills has details of the prize giving for the first ever Tobago Secondary School's art competition, where winners not only got a cash prize, but their work will also be displayed in the 2013 calendar of the Office of the Chief Secretary.
Unless you are fortunate like Anya or Yongqing to get a lucky break, therefore, it is competitions like these that create a platform for young emerging artists like myself and my fellow classmates to showcase their talents.
Young Tobago artists are embracing their folklore and culture and helping to move art forward, with bright images of Sukunya, the reef, cocoa dancing and bongo. With the best piece featuring the famous Laja Bless, winner Nidra Waldron of Scarborough Secondary School spoke of her experience.
At the beginning of this competition, I was only slightly interested, but because of further motivation, when my art teacher, Miss Marcia Devines, showed us the possibilities of the future in art, I got so caught up in my experience in turning my creative juices into play. I enjoyed the experience.
7 secondary schools participated, and with 50 art pieces submitted, Chief Judge Wilcox Morris shared how the judges picked the 10 art pieces of merit and the 12 finalists for the Office of the Chief Secretary's 2013 calendar.
We picked the piece that we felt was the most effective, even though we had difficulty in trying to make a decision on that one piece. We had to. But for me, it was like all the pieces had a lot of strength.
Chief Secretary Orville London explained the significance of the competition in respect to nurturing the talents of young visual artists in Tobago.
Talent like this should not be hidden. Talent like this has to be nurtured, has to be encouraged.
Those who attended got the keepsake of the 2013 art calendar and viewed the top 12 winning pieces, which will be on display at the Gulf City Mall Lowlands for 3 months. Here's what some people thought about the artworks.
I found them to have a variety of colors. Many of them caught my interest, like the one with the Laja Bless and the man. That was my favorite.
I was definitely blown away with the talent that I've seen here. I loved every one of the art pieces. And I was totally amazed and shocked that we have all this talent here in the secondary schools and in the young people.
I am Umadara Mills for the Department of Information.
Who would have thought that the Tobago Netball Association could perform such an historic feat? Not only are they celebrating their 50th anniversary, but they have also, for the first time in Trinidad and Tobago, hosted a Caribbean netball series. It was 3 days of fierce and exciting competition which ended in victory for, well, we'll let Sophie Guillaume tell you who won the competition.
For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, acquiring the winning trophy was no easy task.
Grenada and Tobago really put up a fight, and we accept the challenges, and we went ahead and end up winning the tournament still.
The quadrangular series brought teams from Grenada, Guyana, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines for an under-23 tournament. Thrilled with the tournament, the coaches agreed that the competition was a good experience for the players.
I like the idea that we did this tournament because a lot of young players get the opportunity to see what international tournaments is about. Because a lot of Tobagonians don't make the senior team or the under-21 national teams in Trinidad, right? So they get they get a chance at first hand with some of the international players. So players get to experience international umpires as well, so that they know that they have work to do based on their aggression in the game.
I think it was a good experience for them and an eye-opener for them to see the kind of level they can achieve and where their peers are at the moment so that they can strive to get there.
It was a good one, especially with the Tobago team. We had to dig down to pull the victory. I thought St. Vincent was kind of okay, and my disappointment is with Guyana. They need some more practice, but I think the Tobago team and the Vincent team give us a good competition.
The competition was of a very high standard. We've seen some very exciting games, and I hope that this will not just be a one-off, but it can be something that we look forward to in the future.
MVPs were also chosen from each of the 4 participating countries. For Grenada, it was goal defense Denise Cameron. Guyana centers Tasnika Lovell, St. Vincent and the Grenadines goal defense Deloni Sam also won MVP, along with the goal shoot from Tobago Lenicia McKellar. From the Tobago division, Jets emerged winners of the League B division, while Blazers 1 took League A division and the Orville London Knockout Trophy. Among the numerous prizes distributed at the awards ceremony were those to players for their dedication and service. The Netball Association's administrators were also recognized.
We were very happy as the Tobago Assembly to have hosted this quadrangular tournament in conjunction with the Tobago Netball League. We felt that it was something that must happen, and we trust that the visiting teams and our local under-23 team, that they had a fantastic time, and we look forward to continuing to see netball grow here in Tobago. I want to congratulate Ms. Archer and her team for continuing to ensure that netball plays a significant role in the lives of young women here in Tobago. And we in the Assembly will continue to ensure that we work along with the Netball League to ensure that we recognize that we provide the support that is necessary so that they can achieve their goals.
For the Department of Information, I am Sophie Guillaume.
Even with hiccups in the tourism industry for the past year, the President of Trinidad and Tobago will still take with him pleasant memories of Tobago as he officially leaves office in March of 2013. His Excellency recently hosted his last Christmas reception on the island.
We often say in certain situations that there's a silver lining in the clouds. Well, the tourism industry in Tobago is no different. Despite the challenges Tobago faced within the tourism industry for the past year, there was still a silver lining in the clouds, according to President Richards.
You have maintained your place as one of the more desirable destinations in the Caribbean, including for persons like myself who live in Trinidad.
But Destination Tobago should have no worries once the unique qualities of the island are preserved.
Qualities that can hardly be replicated elsewhere. You will continue to stand out. I exhort you to hold on to the essence of who you are and not dissipate this for any cause.
As for Tobagonians, President Richards said that the particular characteristics of the people add value to Trinidad and Tobago.
And you should remember that. I want to thank you for receiving me and my family as you have done over these several years. As I have said before, we have enjoyed these Christmas parties, and the season would not have been the same without them.
However, the President's major concern during this festive season is that all aren't able to share in its joy.
Certainly, I look forward to the day when in Trinidad and Tobago all will be able to share in this season of joy and giving, which is not now the case.
Richards was elected as president on March 17, 2003 and was inaugurated for a second term on March 17, 2009. I'm Davia Chambers for the Department of Information.
And that's how we bring this week's edition of Let's Talk Tobago to a close. I'm Colleen Holder, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, we leave you now with some scenes from the Chief Secretary's children's Christmas party.